I left school and I didn't go to varsity. I went straight to work with my dad.
What part of running a legacy business has surprised you the most?
Carrying the name Investment Aircraft. Investment Aircraft is the oldest second-hand aircraft sales company standing in South Africa. Forming respect with those clients has been tough from my young age. They don't take me as seriously. I phoned 50 people today. 2 guys have said...
It's a lot of no's.
It's a lot of no's.
Yeah. How do you deal with the stress?
Being able to switch off from work is a big thing. After work, I go work out. It clears my head completely. When people hear airplane, they think tens and 20s of millions, which it really isn't. If you say you're going to do something, go ahead and do it. Put in the effort and get it done. And if it doesn't work, then move on. But at least you know you've given it your all.
If you could give one piece of advice to young people trying to build something meaningful, what would that be?
Sure. One piece of advice. I'd have to start off by just saying...
Brendon Warne, welcome to the Blue Room.
Hey, thanks so much. It's great to be here. Thanks.
So we've got a bit of a funny story how we met. Quite some time ago. It was a bit weird. You were getting dressed and I was getting undressed.
Yeah, something like that.
Just to add a little context, I was at a fitness race. It was at High Rocks Joburg.
Yeah.
And I think you'd just done your
I
first
just
one.
finished my first solo, yeah. And I was like super sweaty, like trying to find a shower. There were no showers. And then bumped into you and we just started chatting.
And me being me, just talk shit to everyone. So
Yeah.
that's how we met. We kind of kept in touch since.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple questions here. So growing up, you're surrounded by aircraft. Did aviation always feel like your destiny, or was it something you grew to love?
Like you said, I've always grown up around it. So my whole life, I think I was pretty much in an airplane before I was 1. So I've loved it my whole entire life. Helicopters, fixed wing, everything. So yeah, I do think it's my whole life's kind of led to the point where I'm at now. Did I think it was going to go exactly this way? Not really, but definitely into aviation for sure.
So do you fly as well?
Yeah, so I've did my private pilot's license, my PPL, which was like 8 exams, about 50 hours of flying. Got that done. Got to fly quite a lot, which was nice. Flying a lot of different planes because of the industry we're in. We buy and sell. So because we own a lot of stock, I can fly a lot. And then from there, I went on and did my commercial pilot's license, which I'm busy with now. I finished my first 8 exams for it. And I just want to get the bit of a further license, if I can call it, instrument rating and so on. So I'm busy studying for that now, yeah.
Sure. Was it difficult?
The PPL was all right. It wasn't bad. The exams, I don't enjoy studying at all. So the exams were tough, but the commercial exams are equivalent to a degree, I'd say. So yeah, it's a lot of studying.
Why are you doing a commercial? Is it something you want to do?
So I left school and I didn't go to varsity. I went straight to work with my dad. And doing that, I don't have a degree or anything behind my name, which I think in today's day isn't the best thing to have. So I wanted to do my commercial pilot's license kind of just so I have something behind my name, something to fall back on. I don't ever want to go fly commercially. I don't see myself in the airlines, but it's just something that if ever I need to fall back on it, I have it.
I suppose it also keeps you well-rounded with the industry and you can actually have an opinion on almost everything because you'll know all of it.
No, for sure. Like when I started with my dad, so like I said, we buy and sell airplanes and helicopters and so on. So when I started, I obviously didn't know much. Coming out of school, I never really went to work with my dad before while I was at school. Never got into aviation, didn't learn too much. So when I started, I never knew anything. I sounded like a complete noob, if I can put it like that. And as soon as I got my private pilot's license, all of a sudden I had some sort of a good understanding of what I was selling, which helped me a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you must go to all the shows. I'm sure something like Nampu's a big show for you to go to, even though it's not an aviation show. I've never seen so many planes and helicopters in my life. I know it's just videos, but I said to May, we're definitely going this year. I think we actually checked the dates yesterday.
Yeah.
We're going to be going. We're going to go check it out.
No, then I'll see you there. It's definitely something we need to go to because all of those aircraft are privately owned. And the amount that fly in there it's
crazy.
A lot. So you make good connections there, meet with a lot of clients. A lot of those people are our clients. So it is a good form of connection there as well.
Silly question. If someone's looking to buy an aircraft, do you often fly to them in that aircraft?
It depends. It depends how serious they are. If they're well-known clients, then of course.
Yeah.
Then of course Dad and I will jump in or I'll just go or something like that. But if it's a random guy off the street, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
And he's got no skin in the game, or it's like extremely far, and the guy's like kind of just once
you don't want to be messed around.
Yeah. So if it's serious, 100% we do fly. A lot in the Free State, a lot of the farmers and stuff can't get out here. They don't like coming out here. So then we do fly and show aircraft, demo them off to clients. Yeah.
So you fly in, and if they bite you, Uber back.
It's happened a couple of times. Yeah.
I can imagine.
It has. Yeah.
What lessons have you learned from watching your dad in the business, and how does he still guide you today?
So let's take a step back. My dad's been in aviation for about 33 years. So he really, and it's a small industry in South Africa. So he knows everyone and everyone knows him, and he's built a really good name for himself. And yeah, just watching him, seeing how he deals with people, it's straightforward. He's open book. He doesn't do backhand deals or anything like that, which I've learned a lot, because when money gets involved, people change very quickly. So from cold calling in the beginning to clients, from my dad guiding me with that, all the way to doing purchase agreements now, my dad's really been right by me the whole entire way, and he still is. Him and I work hand to hand, and obviously now that I've been doing it for a couple of years, I'm a lot more experienced than I was. Not nowhere near where my dad is, but I at least can do a lot more on my own, and he can just double check me and make sure everything's right. And that's only because he sat by me the whole way.
Do you feel it creates a bit more pressure at being a family business rather than you working, let's say, for somebody else?
I feel like in the beginning it was a bit weird, because we really try and separate work from home.
Yeah.
Especially because I have a brother, obviously my mom's at home, and then dad and I have a rough day at work. We come home and we're not happy with each other. We didn't want that.
Yeah.
So having my dad be my boss, we've got a lot closer. I spend every day with him.
Yeah.
So it's been really good for us. Having another boss would be really tough because him and I are so close. So I just go to him, and still, even at work, as much as we try to separate it, he's still my dad. So at work, he's not, I don't call him boss or anything. It's literally just, hey, dad, can you just check this out for me? Or let's do this deal. Or I have this, how about, let's go about it this way. We're really open to each other.
Yeah.
And that's nice. And I feel like if I had another boss, maybe it wouldn't be so easy, if I can call it like that, to speak to him. So yeah, it is. I prefer it be my dad.
What part of running a legacy business has surprised you the most once you stepped into it yourself?
I think carrying the name Investment Aircraft, because Investment Aircraft is the oldest second-hand aircraft sales company standing in South Africa. And it's all to do with it's clients, it's relationships, exactly. You make a bad relationship because of me, but my dad's been trying to build a good one for 30 years.
Yeah.
It gives a bad name to us.
Yeah.
So leaving or taking over the legacy from my dad is something I want to do in a way that he's been building it up because of the good name and relationships he's built. So it definitely is, it's definitely something that I strive to carry on with.
Yeah.
Once he steps down, he wants to retire pretty soon. I don't know if he will, but he does want to, and let me completely take it over, and that would be great. But I just hope that I can carry on with the relationships that he's built. Yeah.
Well, I suppose you'll still have him from a mentoring perspective.
For sure.
But you got to protect those relationships.
Yeah, and I must say he deals with a lot of older clients. It's not really your young guy coming to maybe like a car. A young guy can come and buy a car, whereas it's not normally the case with an airplane. So, and especially from me starting so young, me just forming respect with those clients has been tough from my young age. They don't take me as seriously, which is a struggle I found. But definitely from having my license, that forms a respect because I know what I'm talking about. I can fly myself. It definitely brings respect to my name. But me having to form my own relationships is something as well, not just taking over from my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose that's how you're going to grow the business. So there's a lot of youngsters out there that maybe in high positions, or they've done really well really quickly, or they're entrepreneurs and they're startups. I mean, as a youngster, what sort of self-doubts do you have?
There's so many. I mean, in the beginning, my dad really put me in a position to cold call.
Yeah.
where I'd pick up the phone. We had a list of aircraft owners, and the list was pretty old. So a lot of the planes had already been sold. So I would genuinely like cold call, pick up the phone, say who I am, ask if the aircraft was sale, and sounds like a telesalesman. And people don't like that. So you get a lot of backlash from it.
Yeah.
And I think that puts a lot of doubts in your mind already. Like, are you doing something wrong? You know, I phoned 50 people today. 2 guys have said...
It's a lot of no's.
It's a lot of no's.
Yeah.
And coming into an industry of, call it a wealthy industry of aircraft, being so young, I think you kind of get the thing of, are people ever going to take me seriously? Because I'm just selling them an aircraft. I'm not on their level of buying one, if I can put it like that. You know, you sell a very expensive aircraft and the guy's like, he treats you badly just because you're the salesman. You know, you're just like, you trying to make your money from selling him the expensive thing that he's able to buy. So I think you get a lot of doubt from you realizing that you almost need to like really suck up to people to sell them their product, or you think you're below them. I don't know if this makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But you almost having to try build a relationship to entice a sale.
Yeah.
But, you know, hearing no's, and I've been in industries before where there is cold calling. And, you know, what we always told people is, you know, every no is one step closer to a yes.
100%.
But it's not. It knocks your confidence every single time. Your next call, you're expecting, you know, the guy's saying yes, and you're just not even listening. You're banging the phone down. Yeah, but I suppose there's a lot of self-doubt, and it's also you're probably in a position where you feel like you have to prove yourself more than most.
Yeah, and also, no, definitely. And I guess what's different in my industry is we can go for months without selling an airplane. The industry at the moment, which is a whole nother topic we can get onto, is in such a difficult place at the moment because of the laws the governments have just implemented in the past, call it a year. So when you go such a long period of not accomplishing something, you think, obviously you create a massive amount of doubts in your mind. You think, I haven't sold any for 3 months. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Or you look at your competition and you think, they look like they're doing so well. Meantime, you don't actually know what's going on in their company, but you think, flip, they're doing so well. I'm not doing so well. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Am I not getting out there enough? Are my relationships that I'm building not strong enough? Are they not happy with me of the service I've provided? And I think that also plays a huge role in wanting to sell a good product, which aircraft, luckily, they have a massive maintenance record. Maintenance on aircraft is huge. But when you sell a guy an airplane and he phones you a week later and he says, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and you never knew about it because the pre-buy that they did on the aircraft was so good.
Yeah.
And they phone you and say, no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You say to them, but I never knew, and then it's all your fault.
Yeah.
So I think that puts a lot of doubts in your mind as well. Just hearing the negative of the sales, like if I could call it like that, even though there's so many more positives.
Yeah.
But it does form a bit of doubt.
Excuse my ignorance, but how long would someone usually keep an airplane for? I mean, we know people, it's up to you. You know, some people I like to keep cars for 2 years. I've had this one for a long time now.
Yes.
But how long do people keep airplanes for?
So airplanes are very different. It depends what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
So if you're buying it as a private car, let's say you fall in love with airplanes, or you want to do your license, you go and do your private pilot's license. That's all you'd need to fly you and your wife around and kids one day. That's all you need. So you do your license on a small little trainer, Cessna 172, Papa Cherokee, something like that. It's a small little 2-seater. You could make it a 3, but really small, and you get comfortable in that
little
airplane.
baby seat in the back.
You could fit, for sure you could. And then once you're comfortable with that, you kind of go on to something a little bit bigger, like a little 4-seater, or Cessna 182 or something like that. And it depends, you know. You hear of guys owning the aircraft for... I just bought an airplane from a guy, he owned it for 22 years. So it became his baby. He fell in love with it. It did exactly what he wanted. It was just him and his wife. Flew him anywhere he wanted to go in South Africa. But then you have guys that own an airplane for 2 months. They're like, no, it's too slow. I need a faster one. So it really depends. It's not like there's no warranties or anything like that on the aircraft itself. So guys, it really depends. There's no say to one guy owns it for 1 year and that's just what you should do. But
yeah. I suppose your needs might change. You might be in a two-seater and like, geez, I actually want to fly with some mates.
Exactly.
So you want to get something bigger.
Yeah, exactly. And speed is a big thing. You obviously want to go faster.
Yeah.
Because then you get to places faster, and fuel consumption because you can go further.
Yeah.
So it's definitely that of you wanting to take more people, but private flying is difficult. Up to 6, after 6, you're going to need
a jet.
Not necessarily a jet, but a twin or a turboprop or something like that. And then the budget just becomes...
And how long it's a piece of string, but what do each of these levels of planes cost, roughly? Thumbsuck.
Roughly, I'm not even going to say trainers. Trainers in the country are extremely sought after because all the flying school business in South Africa is booming at the moment. There are tons and tons of Indians, Egyptians, Sudanese coming to South Africa to learn to fly. So from a training aircraft perspective, prices are through the roof. They cost anywhere from 1.5 million to 3 million rand for a training aircraft.
Yeah.
Privately owned, a good certified airplane. At the moment, you're probably not going to find one cheaper than about, let's say, 1.5 million. And then you can go up to whatever. You can go up to, a couple of million.
But they're not, I mean, if you compare it to cars, they're not like ridiculously prohibitive.
People think airplanes are super expensive. They're really not.
Yeah.
You can, often a guy will arrive to his airplane with his Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT costing double the price his airplane did.
Yeah.
But airplanes have, like I said before, a strict maintenance, if you can call it, program they have to follow. So they're expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
But airplanes aren't as expensive as people think they are. Obviously, there are expensive ones. You know, you go buy, for example, there's a brilliant aircraft, Sling. They build them in South Africa. They build them here. A brand new out-the-factory airplane costs you about just under 5 million. Which it's a lot of money, but guys are driving their fancy cars that cost 5 million.
Yeah.
So when people hear airplane, they think tens and 20s of millions, which it really isn't.
Do you think more people are buying airplanes from you for purpose or for, let's say, their private flying? They just want to go have some fun.
So for us, our bread and butter is a small private flying.
Yeah.
It's a guy like you and I that just want to own an airplane to fly our family from here to Durban and back, type of a thing. But we do definitely sell a lot of charter airplanes as well. That's a guy who owns a business. He owns 14, 15 airplanes that he charters out. So we do that. And then obviously as well, we do business jet sides, which is the really big stuff. That's a couple $1 million airplane market, which is in South Africa, it's really small. But there are a couple people that own.
We'll be this soon. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, we thought we're at the wife's family farm this weekend, their new place, and there's a landing strip there. And I thought, there's a landing strip right by us in Cape Town as well. How perfect would it be to just fly in and fly out? But you just don't know what that kind of budget is. What do you think separates a really good salesperson from someone that has the ability to build lifelong clients?
I think a really good salesperson would just be someone who can sell you something, even though you're not really wanting it.
Yeah.
And a guy that builds a relationship will sell you something that when he wants to sell it, he can phone you back and say, hey, you sold me this airplane. I want you to sell it for me because of how you sold me the airplane. I really enjoyed working with you. And he will say, but I want to upgrade it, but I'll only buy from you. And that's the case with us. We have a lot of clients that will only deal with us. We've got a lot of competition. There's a lot of other companies out there that do sell airplanes, obviously. But I think you obviously have to be a good salesman to form a relationship as well.
Yeah.
But a guy that's just money driven and just after this one sale, he's not going to build that relationship to have further on sales later on down the line.
I suppose you're building trust and purpose, because I suppose with an airplane as well, it must be an extremely personal decision. It's not just buying a car. It must be on a similar level to buying a house.
I think so. It's an emotional thing as well for a lot of people, which you don't think of.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guys that buy these private airplanes. It's been their dream their whole life. They've worked for it their whole entire life. They've grown up playing with toy airplanes. They've come to us and said, listen, it's their dream to own an airplane. So when you sell it to them the day of delivery, you can see the excitement on their face. You can see how happy they are, and they kind of they want to come back every day just to look at the airplane, not even that they can fly it. So, and I think a car you get rid of a lot easier than an airplane, if that makes sense. Like, you don't get so attached to it. For some reason, you kind of just get attached to airplanes. You know, I've forced myself to not get attached to really any material thing because what I do, I buy and sell, so I can't. But for a private guy to come and buy an airplane, it's really it is an emotional thing compared to a car. A car you've kind of had your whole life, if I can put it like that, when you're of age. An airplane's a dream.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
With you being so young, I mean, how do you deal with the stress? How do you deal with the mental fatigue, with burnout, with all of those things? What do you do to kind of switch off or identify when things are kind of getting rough for you?
So firstly, I have my dad, like we said. He's definitely been, you know, having him compared to another boss that I don't really have a good relationship with makes a huge difference. But I just think being able to switch off from work is a big thing. You know, I'm very involved in fitness, as you know, obviously IROX and Deadly Dozen and that type of stuff. So fitness is a big thing for me to switch off. You know, after work, I go work out. It clears my head completely. Yeah. But dealing with stress at work, in our industry, it really comes down to communication with the client. If he's not happy, we like to sit down and sort things out and find a middle ground for both of us. Luckily, most of the clients we deal with, you know, are upright, just people, good businessmen, so they're not scared to come and sit and have a conversation with you. But the stress can get hectic when, I guess, also when you sell a guy an airplane and things really don't go well for him. The airplane crashes, or, you know, it doesn't happen often. Airplane crashes aren't a big thing at all, but it's a worry. You know, you're scared because you sell a guy an airplane and it's a dangerous form of transportation, as people think. Anyway, driving's a lot more, but I don't know. I just think the stress is I rely on God a lot, obviously, for sure, but just communication, talking through it, and dealing with it as it comes.
Let's jump onto the fitness side now. So, like I said, we met at a Hyrox race. You've qualified for World Champs this year, haven't you?
Yeah.
But you're not racing with your partner this time?
No, so I qualified with him in Cape Town in the doubles pro. So we'll be going to Sweden in June. We are going. We thought it's a once in a lifetime achievement. We better go and do it. But now in this Cape Town doubles, he's doing with his brother. Yeah. His parents are flying down from Durban and they want to do it together. So he phoned me up and he said, "Would I mind?" So I said, "Not at all." I mean, so I'm gonna go and do the solo one and hopefully find someone to do the doubles with on the Sunday for fun.
Jeez, I'm so unfit. I'm stressing a little bit.
I was going to do it with you, but you said you're too old,
man. Your age is the problem. So, I mean, you're 23 and I'm 44. Doesn't mix so well.
Mix so well,
No, you got to find someone your own age. Otherwise, you're going to drag me down into the very quick categories. Actually, the over 40s is pretty damn fast. It's, I mean, what did you guys go?
Our time was 106.
106.
Yeah.
And I think the winning time for over 40s was 101.
No,
or 1 minute flat. So the old buddies can still...
No, they...
I actually laughed earlier when you said noob, because we laugh about it all the time. My kids say it. I said it the other day and I said it completely wrong and I got mocked by everybody. So.
Slang.
So with the fitness side, what does your kind of week consist of usually? I mean, are you a super serious trainer? Or are you kind of the guy that just goes and gets it done and grinds it out?
At the moment, I'm started like a fitness journey, if I can call it, my 120 days to Hyrox World Champs. Okay. I started on my Instagram and my socials and so on, and it was kind of just to keep me dedicated to be a bit more serious. Yeah. Because, so I train. Okay, so my week consists of I train twice a day, Monday to Thursday. So the mornings I do a K-Fit class, which is like really revolved around kettlebells. Yeah. We do some dumbbell stuff and so on, and it's a lot of burpees and rowing and assault bike and that type of CrossFit type training. Yeah. I would say, but there's no running there, and Hyrox and those type of fitness races are a lot of running.
It's a running race.
It's a running race. So in the evenings I go and I following a program at the moment that we've been given. I don't know if you've heard of the Endure app. It's at Alex Rukovnich. I'm going to mess up his surname. He holds the world record for the Hyrox solo. He gave us 3 months of his training plan to follow. So I'm trying that just to improve my running and really my high rocks type of training. So I don't get to the gym and not know what to do. So I do that Monday to Thursday, Friday morning, another KFU class. Friday evenings, I often go and visit my girlfriend and chill. If not, then I do train again. Then I train once on a Saturday and a rest on a Sunday. So I'm putting in anywhere from 12 to 15 hours a week at the moment of this 120-day challenge that I've set myself, just so I'm fit enough, or hopefully fit enough for Worlds.
So you're going to work in some training blocks, give yourself some time off so you don't plateau, I suppose.
Yeah, I have to.
I just need to get my running up.
Same.
I haven't been. But today's actually kind of our day one. So we're not working towards anything specific. It's just kind of getting back into it.
Yeah.
We're going to get you to come to a Dirty Dozen soon as well.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely want to do the one in Joburg on 9th of May, I think it is.
Yes, that's correct. I don't know if you'll be around for the Potch one because they might be a bit close to World Champs.
It's a weekend before. I think it's the 13th of June. Yeah, I had a look at it already.
That'll be a goodie.
Yeah.
Let's see what other Hyrox questions I've got here. Let's talk about friendship in sport. Have you made good mates in sport? Not necessarily where you are now. Let's talk about school and stuff like that. What was your sports at school, by the way?
I've always soccer, mainly.
Really?
Mainly, I was at a very small private school in Vereeniging.
Yeah.
So there's no rugby or anything like that. So I played a lot of soccer. Played all the sports there was. I was very sport driven. I was not good at education at all. I really did not like studying. I never studied at school at all. So everything for me was sport. So it was soccer, it was volleyball, table tennis, cricket in primary school, hockey in primary school. But I really enjoyed my soccer in high school. Played a lot, still play a bit of soccer, but then really got into gym in about grade 11, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you come across Hyrox? Because I remember when we met, I think you were pretty much just training in the gym at the time. It was kind of something that I'll go and enter this, and you did pretty well at it. And I suppose that's where the bug bites.
Yeah. Definitely. So my fitness journey, I started from the beginning, really. At school, I was really small, like extremely short.
Yeah.
I was tiny. I was a late bloomer, so in matric, I really only started to grow, and that's when I started gym. So I started at just the right time, and I got into the bodybuilding world.
Yeah.
So that was for about 2-3 years. I almost stood on stage. I got to the point where I wanted to stand on stage for bodybuilding, just trying to put on as much size as I could.
Yeah.
It was that bulking stage, the cutting, the bulking. And I did that for quite some time. And then Hyrox came up and I saw it, and a friend of mine did the very first one in Cape Town, which wasn't so big.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw him did it, and I thought, geez, this looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
I've always been very active, rode a lot of motorbikes, always been fit, trying to stay fit. So yeah, just like that, I entered it, didn't really know what to expect, didn't train running enough at all. But yeah, I really just fell in love with it.
Well, I've still got 4 weeks to go. That's what I keep reminding myself. It's getting tight. It's getting tight. Is it 4 weeks? Maybe slightly less now. But I think the nice thing with Hyrox, if you slightly bigger guys like we are, the strength side's not a problem. But where you do get really caught out is the runs. You realize even though it's a 50-50 split, I'd say the run's probably 70% of the race from an importance perspective.
No, for sure. Definitely is. And I saw that when I did my first doubles. I did it with a friend of mine, Tristan, who in Cape Town, and he's a very good runner. And I would come out of the exercises and he would just run. And I'd be dying. So the strength part of it has never been an issue coming from my gymming background.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the issue. The running has always been the issue. And it still is. So I'm really trying to work on my running a lot more than I was.
Yeah.
But being I don't want to say a big guy because I don't see myself as big, but being a guy that isn't skinny-ish to run, it's a bit more difficult,
Well, I'm sitting at 101, and running at 101 is not.
It's not easy.
It's not pretty. It's not very graceful either when you look at it. So you mentioned that relationship's the most rewarding part of your industry. What does a genuine business relationship look like to you?
You see, our relations become friends. There's so many people that we've met in the industry that we've become really good friends with. We own a holiday home in Mozambique, and we had a 50-50 partner, and my dad met him through selling him an airplane. And he's become a really, really, really good friend of mine. He's probably one of the guys I look up to most in my whole life. And there's so many people like that, that we have our own runway now at our home where we're building, and we will have clients come to us for lunch on Sundays, fly in, have lunch with us, and they become friends. They don't stay clients.
So it's the friendship side.
Yeah, friendships are important.
Do you think physical challenge is important for mental growth?
100%. 100%. Talking about fitness.
Yeah.
Definitely. Fitness is... Going into the gym is so much more than just pushing weights or running or trying to get fit. It completely changes the way you work, the way you think, how you go about your day. I've seen it, if I lean off and I don't train for a couple months, I see how lazy I become.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, picking this bottle up and taking it to the kitchen is an effort. When I'm training, it's not an effort anymore.
Yeah.
You just stand up and do it.
Yeah.
You get it done. Mentally, 100%, I think it does so much more for you than you even realize until you're in it. And then you stop and then you realize, geez, I wonder why I'm so brain fogged all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But it's because I haven't been training as much as I was, or just been so consistent in it. It helps with diet. I feel like when I train, I eat way better than if I'm not training.
You do make healthy choices without
100%.
Unconsciously. You also tend to drink less. I always find it as with the more I'm training, the less I actually want to have a drink.
100%. Definitely. The more I train, the more healthy I want to be.
Yeah.
Because it'll make my training easier and make my body perform better, look better, feel better. But if I'm sitting on the couch and being a bit lazy, I think, let me just eat that donut or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I have a really, really big thing against youngsters in my generation being lazy. I talk pretty straight. If you get to know me well, I don't beat around the bush.
Yeah.
If I've got family members or friends that I see are, becoming super lazy, picking up too much weight, especially at my age, I think it's a big issue. If I look at a guy that's, call it over 50 or 60, I'm not saying they need to be lazy, but if he wants you're not there yet, you can still be fit. If he wants to go and have a bad meal, then let him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go and become extremely overweight, but if you're a guy my age, in your 20s, in your 30s, I believe it's extremely important to be fit.
Look after yourself.
100%, and that helps your mental, your the way you think. It really changes that.
I found when I started getting fit again and looking after myself a bit better, for me it was a self-respect thing, first and foremost. You got to respect yourself. And it wasn't always about, I didn't start training actually to look good. I started training to clear my head. And, looking good, I always say, is a byproduct of eating healthy, the training, all that sort of stuff. And people lead busy lives. I mean, May and I will tell you, I put on a bit of weight just because work's been incredibly kind to us. Like, we've been doing really, really well with business. But if you do not make the time, you won't find the time. So you've got to create your own discipline. And I think it kind of all translates from there. Like, you must be very busy and all over the place, but you still have to find your 2 sessions a day.
Yeah, at the moment, the 2 sessions a day is a lot. I understand a lot of people can't do that. They don't have the time. But I can guarantee you, everyone has 45 minutes in their day to go and work out. I don't believe of this thing of someone being so busy that they can't take out, if it's not 45 minutes, if it's not half an hour of their day, if you don't have time to go to the gym, get up and go for a run from your home or do something.
Yeah.
I definitely think that everyone has got the time to just putting a little bit of effort into their fitness.
Well, I think the nice thing is, like, even at come here to Planet Fitness, there's things you can do and you can still actually carry on working if it's really that bad. You can sit on a stationary bike, you can hop on a treadmill. The nice thing is you can still switch off. You can pop on a podcast, you can listen to a podcast while you're walking, while you're running. So there's so much more you can do. I just also find that if you don't, I prefer to train in the evenings rather than the mornings, but it just doesn't work for my lifestyle anymore. So I actually have to change the way I want to train because the day just gets busy. Then I get home and then there's kids and there's so much going on. And honestly, by the end of the day, you're really tired.
Yeah.
And if you haven't trained that morning, it would be way easier to pick up the second session if you've already done the first session.
Exactly.
But you're not going to get to later in the day and now go, oh, I'm going to go train twice or two different things or whatever it may be. You must have met some really awesome people in your life. Who, outside of your dad, who has genuinely influenced you in your business journey?
Okay, so there's three people that come to mind immediately. So the first guy is the guy I mentioned earlier on. He's a guy by the name of Mark Bristow.
Yeah.
He was the CEO of the world's biggest gold mine company. So extremely successful, left a massive legacy. And he's definitely someone I've looked up to a lot because he's someone that when he was still working, he's partly retired now in the past year, but when he was working, he would answer 1,000 emails a day and he would stay fit. He's in his mid-60s now, and he would say to me he would find an hour in the day to make sure that he does some form of exercise, back to the exercise thing. But just seeing how hard he works and seeing the effort he puts into his work and the ability to completely shut off and focus on his work, he would be on holiday with us. And we did a ferry from here to America in one of his airplanes, which took about 7 days. And we would be sitting at dinner. He'd have dinner with us, and then he'd say, guys, I need to do a bit of work. And he would turn his laptop on, and he'd be able to focus on his work, and everything around him wouldn't matter. We would be talking, it doesn't matter. He would be so focused on his work, and he would be able to put 100% into what he's doing. And I think that made him so successful to what he is, because he doesn't just put in 80% and think about what's on the side here. He's really focuses on everything, and I'll give that to him. And the second guy is, I call him my godfather, Steve Heen. He's just immigrated now to Australia, but many years ago, he was like the world champion stand-up jet ski rider when he was about 19, and he was phenomenal as a sportsman. Went to, in Durban, he became, the SUP stand-up paddleboard. He was like second in the country for that. Anyway, he started, his story goes something like this. He started a company right when computers became a thing. And his first company was, he taught people how to use computers. Sold his company for good amounts of money, kind of retired when he was about 28 and thought, well, I'm 28, I can't retire.
Yeah.
So he started a company called Surgical Devices, which was medical. They sell medical supplies, stitches, and all of the parts that go in your body when you have operation. And he's now sold his company and moved to Australia. And he's just the most upright, down-to-earth man you'll ever meet. And yeah, really, really look up to him, just because no matter how much he's got, he doesn't boast, or you'd never say so. You'd see him walking the streets, he's a guy like you and I, and he's, I'd like to hope to, if I become that wealthy one day, not to be exactly like it.
Yeah.
Just be a normal human being that can have conversations with your everyday person. And I've really, looked up to him. And then I'll just give you one more quickly. My girlfriend's dad, he's Colin Diab. He's the guy that he can build up a massive company from nothing. He started, he's on his, I don't know how many companies he's built and sold, but the company he's currently running now, he started him and 2 workers, and he's built it up to about 650 employees.
Sure.
And he's really someone who also can put his mind to something and gets it done. He doesn't just talk.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big issue in today's days. People talk and they don't do.
Yeah.
If you say you're going to do something, go ahead and do it. Put in the effort and get it done. Try.
Yeah.
Might not work, but you know what? Go ahead and do it. Go try. And if it doesn't work, then move on. But at least you've given it your all. So, yeah.
So I think it's a work ethic side. It's unfortunately people your age get tarred with the general brush. They're lazy these days.
For sure.
Gen Zs, people are like, don't want to hire Gen Z.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons. But I suppose it's the only way you're going to get ahead these days. You touched on it earlier about varsity degrees. I believe a varsity degree these days only gets you an interview.
For sure.
It's not what you know, it's who you know, and it's building those relationships and also nurturing them. So if you've got the opportunity to have those people around you and mentor you, even if they're not physically mentoring you, it's huge.
Yeah, like you said, varsity degrees, I believe there's a few varsity degrees that are worth going to get. You have obviously your doctors, you have your actuarial scientists, you have your engineers, those are what I consider a proper degree.
Yeah.
But 100%, I think if you go and do a normal degree, and I'm not trying to push on any buttons, but it does just get you an interview.
Yeah.
But it's exactly that. It's not about what you know, it's who you know and the connections you make and the person you are and how willing you are to work. And I think you touched on, you said, my generation, the Gen Zs, are lazy. And I think another problem with my generation is they see social media, which is extremely fake. With
Highlights real.
Well, exactly that.
Yeah.
With me being on it so much, it's extremely. I can portray a complete fake lifestyle on social media compared to what I'm living now.
Yeah.
And this whole new thing of, sign up to this program course and you'll make thousands of dollars every month by sitting on your couch and working half an hour behind a laptop. That's all rubbish.
People are looking for quick fixes these days. Exactly the same comes to weight loss and everything. No one's 100%. Willing to put in the hard graft.
Exactly.
I think everyone these days, it's still the same people doing the same things. I see it in Cape Town all the time, and it's especially come December time, it's the same people wanting to be at the same parties, and it's quite incestuous as well. But it's the same people who will moan about not getting ahead in life. You just got to put your head down and work hard. And the biggest thing, it's like you know it, is relationships. I'll talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I'll be next to someone and I'll just start talking to randoms. But it's the only way you're going to build your base. You might meet someone incredible. You might just have a quick chat. It might be, I mean, I'm trying to get back into it now. I think COVID was a very difficult time for a lot of people and put people in a different light. And I went to full change. I mean, a lot of people don't know I come from a hospitality, food and beverage background.
Sure.
So I went from booze to exercise.
To fitness,
and I kind of fell into fitness where, I was just doing it for me, and then opportunities started to arise. And because I had a good track record and I'd done eventing and I've got good business acumen and I've been in business for a long time, it kind of came my way and I grabbed it with both hands and ran with it. So I want to finish with one question to finish off. If you could give one piece of advice to young people trying to build something meaningful, what would that be?
Sure. One piece of advice. I'd have to start off by just saying go for it. If you have an idea, run with it, especially if you're my age. When you're someone my age, you don't have much to lose. If I have an idea and a business plan or anything that I really want to give it a go that I believe can work, then try. Obviously, if it's out of reach, and be realistic. But when you're at someone my age, you don't have much to lose. You got a wife, you got kids, you have to provide for them. I'm still living at home.
Yeah.
If I try something and I lose a little bit, I can still go home and I know I'll be fed.
You've lost what you've put in, type thing.
Exactly that. So a piece of advice to give someone would really just be, I think, believe in yourself. Don't think you're above anyone else. Just look at each other. We're all humans. And trust in God and see if He can help you as well.
Brend, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
And look forward to seeing what the year's got ahead for you.
No, for sure. Hopefully a lot of Deadly Dozens, High Rocks, fitness, and a lot of good times together.
Nice.
Thanks.